In this video, we are going to be analysing Uber. So to get straight into it, what is key to note, yes, they had their earnings today. They have been losing less and less going into each, or at least the last two they've earned less. They did have one positive quarter back in February. So that is kind of key to note. We are pushing back more towards that profitability, which is, I guess, good to see if you're holding Uber long term. But obviously on this news, we did gap and we did go. So again, we always expect that and always be paying attention to that in these large cap stocks, because that is usually quite an easy way to be looking at how to trade these stocks is if they open usually more than 3%, which obviously in this case we can quickly check. It did do it, open up around 12%. Usually a good thing you can usually look, and again, just go back and check yourself. If a stock gaps more than 3%, ideally off fundamental news, you will tend to see it carry on this trend at least for a bit. So I mean, even if you bought at the absolute high of that first minute, you could have still made around 2%, depending on where your stop loss was on the trade. But again, you tend to play the gap and goes, but you usually want to wait for that pullback before getting in. But either way, that is just one thing I just wanted to note to look out for. But what we did run into, and again, if you use standard deviations, this would have been a good insight into where we opened up. You can see we opened up in the range of our first deviation on both the 6-month and the 1-year chart. These are considered heavy resistances. So it would have been something, and if you go and watch any of the videos, we always say we look for the exact same thing, a break above and the retest. So even if you didn't buy the initial gap and go, and again, this would have gave you perfect entry. You wait for that pullback, like we say we look for, and you could have just been buying into that support of that first deviation. But either way, if you wanted the even safer entry, how could we have got that? Wait for that break above, come back for that retest, and then you play the retest. And again, even that could have provided pretty good upside. Even if you just took kind of the smaller move of it, that still provided over a 2% upside move. So it's really key to be knowing where these levels are, because they can provide you really good intraday day trades. But if we are looking more for a swing trade perspective, we will go on to the longer term levels now, because again, we're probably not going to move from this level now. And what you want to see is, if you're more bullish on this stock, we have resistances at 34.50 and 36.60. But if we're going to break to this level, what you want to see is a break above this $30 level, come back to retest it as a support, and then if we can hold, we expect to push further. So basically what we saw in this intraday chart, but you want to see this on more the longer term chart. So for the minimum, probably a 4-hour, you want to see a break, a retest, and that should give you some good confirmation to the upside potential. Now if we break the 36.60, we do have final levels taking us to $39. 43.50. This will be really strong because it's a fourth deviation on a 6-month and also a third deviation on a 1-year chart, and a final level at $50. Again, considering how weak markets are at the moment, we do have a big Fed meeting tomorrow, and that's really going to dictate where the market goes for at least the next few weeks. So really be paying attention to that. We saw the ISM data come out today. Stocks collapsed off that news. And so it was good to see Uber hold up. That is showing that it is having some strength, but really tomorrow is going to be key. If you are in anything leveraged tomorrow, definitely be careful, because again, when this Fed meeting comes out tomorrow, it is going to move the market massively. It wouldn't be unlikely to see the Nasdaq move 600 ticks tomorrow. So do be watching out for that. Be risk managed. And again, if it comes out poor number, that will or if it comes out less than expected, so again they're looking to hike, if they come out less than probably 75 basis points, that could be a good indication. We could see a good pump we will see a good pump across the market if that happens. So Uber could push to that 34. Might be a bit harder Monday, but just depending on the Fed rate that comes out. But those will be our upside targets. Now quickly onto the supports. We do have levels at $21, $16.70 and $15.60, and then final levels taking us down to $12.25, $8.75 and a final level at $7.75. So these are the key support and resistance levels. Again, do be cautious coming into tomorrow. We do have the Fed meeting, but also, or the Fed release, but also, again, if you're paying attention more to the upside, which I imagine people seeing up 12.5%, people look at that either two ways. Either they want to jump on that trend and continue that uptrend momentum. If you are one of those people, wait for that break, wait for that confirmation and the retest, and that will give you a good insight and at least a lower risk entry, because again, you can have your tight stop, because if it doesn't hold that level, it's going to most likely fail the whole way down. Or if you're someone who looks to play against these big moves, then again, we are kind of at a good short bias level. You could look to get short here. If we break that high, be a good stop. You're risking a point. You know, even if you just go back to where it was yesterday, you got around 3 to 4 points upside on that. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the breakdown on Uber. If you did, why not drop a like and subscribe, and check out one of these 2 analysis videos.